Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of Middle-earth? It's Ryan the Cyber Hobbit. Time for another 1/6 scale unboxing. Today I have another figure from Asmus Collectible Toys. This is their Crown Series Gandalf the Grey. The Crown Series is essentially Asmus's ultimate line of 1/6 scale figures. Though oddly enough, this is the only figure they have so far with this label. Though I would imagine they do have others planned. And as you can see, this box came with a sleeve on it, as it appears Asmus has decided to up their game when it comes to boxes for this line. This figure cost $350, and I actually got it on Sideshow.com instead of directly from Asmus, but it does appear that they are still selling this on their own website. And since I've waited a little over an entire year for this to finally arrive, let's get on with the unboxing. So this box actually comes with, for a lack of a better word, door that has a bit more of information about the piece. And I hate to be that guy, but I already have some issues with just this. Now let me start by saying, I only speak one language, and anyone who can speak multiple languages, I take my hat off to you, truly. Now with that being said, this is full of grammar and spelling mistakes. I'm not really sure how Asmus couldn't find someone who speaks English fluently to proofread this. Again, I don't speak another language, so I'm definitely not one to talk. But this just strikes me as odd, seeing as this is supposed to be the ultimate Asmus figure, and they even mention the words, detailed quality check. This really isn't that big of a deal, because it is just a box. And if you're a non-native English speaker, please understand I'm not hating on you, but hopefully even you would understand trying to get translations correct on a $350 collectible sold to the masses. Moving on, the right side has this nice little authenticity card included. I've never seen anyone do something like this, so this was a pretty nice touch. Has a nice little shiny emblem on it. Though, I would have put the name Gandalf written on here somewhere. And under the foam, we find Gandalf's headless body. It has a top part which I've never quite seen before on a 1/6 scale figure. On the right side is another little blue box that contains his head. It's pretty nice to get a separate padded box for this. Never seen that before either. I really think that this is a great looking head sculpt. I can definitely see Ian McKellen in it. I always prefer rooted hair than sculpted hair, and this figure shows why. Looks really well done. If I had any critique, it'd be that perhaps his beard could use a bit more gray than white. On the underside of his head, you can find two prongs that you use to move his eyes. They're a little bit difficult to use, but it's a very cool option. And I mean, who hasn't wanted to see Gandalf cross-eyed? Here's a closer look at his clothes. This is one thing that I think Asmus always does really well. Very nice weathering at the bottom. You can tell he's been walking Middle-earth for a while. I wonder if he bathes. And I don't really remember seeing this in the films, as why would you, but apparently Gandalf has jeans on also, with a nice little pattern to them. And here's a little closer look at his shoes. Really well done, even has shoelaces. His belts on his waist look nice, almost like a leather appearance. And then he has some really nice stitching at the top. And here's a closer look at his hands with his long johns on. After moving his hair out of the way, his head attaches very easily with a magnet to keep it in place. And once he's together, I think this looks wonderful. Very impressed. And then next we have his nice pointy hat. It does have a stitch put in place to prevent the tip from standing straight up. Sort of keeps it in a permanent Gandalf style. It also has a magnet in it that helps to hold it in place. Though I found that it almost seems to be angled a little too forward. I think it might look better if it sat a little bit back on his head some. Moving on to the rest of the box. It comes with this really cool Diorama Base. It has a Gandalf nameplate at the bottom. It's a little hard to see with my camera, but it looks better in person. Really cool greenery and grass. And in the middle is the hole for the stand to hold Gandalf up. The stepping stones have a very nice paint job, I think. Really cool all around. I think this might be the best base that Asmus has for their figures. I think this definitely helps to justify the price. Hidden inside the greenery, there are two places that you'll use to attach the gate, as well as a hole for the mailbox. Continuing on, now let's take a look at the hands and a book, as well as what looks like his pipe. You get 8 hands, well I guess 10 if you include the ones that are already on him, but they are of different hand gestures. A couple of them to also hold his staffs and sword. And over here we have his pipe. No complaints here, looks great. Next we have this cool little book that actually has pages in it. It doesn't open, but still really cool. A very nice, cute little addition. And under the hands was also the little instruction booklet. And then over here on the right, we find his little bag, as well as his cloak. The secret letter is M. Really good looking material. And then along the edges, there's some really nice weathering. Here's a little closer look at his bag, as well as his coin pouch. Looks great. And then on the final layer, we find the no admittance sign, as well as his sword and his 2 staffs. No admittance except on party business. The sign is actually, I believe, a piece of paper. And then it looks like one of my nails is just a little bit loose. They are a bit fragile, but just have to be careful. And here are the 2 posts that hold up the gate. Look pretty good. Nice paint job. Next up we have the mailbox. Really nice and detailed. And the handle and door actually do work. Really cool. And then we have the faux hammer. Glamdring. Really nice job on the scabbard. And yes, this is metal because it is heavy. Well, for a tiny sword. Very shiny. And here's a bit closer look at the handle and pommel. Really nice job. And finally, last but not least, are the 2 staves. Really cool that they gave us 2. though they are different. And if you didn't know, Gandalf actually uses multiple staffs throughout the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films. It's not just the same one. I believe the one on the left is the Moria staff, and then the one on the right is the staff he uses when he faces Saruman. They don't really seem too brittle, pretty sturdy for how skinny they are, have a little bit of a weight to them. A very nice job. And here is everything laid out together. So now the next step is to set everything up. So there's actually another thing that I got to go with this piece that's about to come in real handy. The gate and fence went on fine, but then I ended up struggling to get the mailbox to go into its designated hole. It really just didn't want to go into the hole, and then I felt like I might end up breaking it if I continued. So, seems like the perfect time to share this. This is a custom stand that I got from Stoney Stands. It's a guy that's on Facebook that makes custom stands for various figures. It's essentially a clear piece of plastic that has the perfect size holes to hold the fence and mailbox by itself. That way you don't really crowd the base with Gandalf and the gate all kind of bunched up together. But for me, this is working out great because I just couldn't get the mailbox to go into the holes. This also allows you to theoretically pair this with not only Gandalf, but perhaps the Asmus Bilbo figure. Again, from Stoney's Stands, a really nice guy on Facebook. Definitely recommend checking him out. So setting up Gandalf was pretty straightforward if you follow the instructions. But here's how the scabbard is supposed to go on, as that part was a little bit confusing. Just be sure to follow this order of the belt loops. So you likely already know this, but I figured I'd mention it anyway. This figure is very posable. If you'd like, you can have Gandalf do Kung Fu. And here he finally is, all set up. I think this is a great little figure. All the accessories and the gate and the swords and the staffs, even the book, really makes it a complete package. This is definitely my favorite Asmus Toys collectible. I really do hope that Asmus makes more of these Crown Series figures. There's definitely a very visible extra effort that you can see, even if they did misspell some words on the box. I do plan on doing a lot more of these Asmus figures unboxings. I have about 11 other figures so far that are still new in the box, so if you want to make sure you see those, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell if you want to be updated. And also remember that secret letter. It's going to come in handy very soon. If you guys like this video, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. But I believe that's it for this video. So until next time, bye bye.